Welcome to the 2022 USA Archery Indoor National Final from Kentucky International Convention Center here in Louisville, Kentucky. And it is time for some two heavy hitters to take the stage in the compound men's final match. It is Braden Gellenthien, just behind the archer you're looking at right now, Kris Schaff. Braden coming in, your number 4 qualifier. Kris Schaff, your number 2 qualifier. After elimination matches today, it has come down to this for the compound men. I'm Greg White, sitting next to Steve Anderson. And Steve, first up is going to be Kris Schaff.
Yeah, we're getting right into it. And these guys, this indoor round contested at 20 yards. You can see that little ring inside the yellow. That's our 10 ring. That's maximum points. Kris with a 9 there to start. That 10 ring is 2 centimeters in diameter, just a little bit bigger than a penny. Braden opening up with a good 10. So these guys are going to shoot a 15 arrow match. They're going to shoot 5 ends of 3 arrows, maximum score of 150 points, and winner takes all. Should we end up with a tie at the end of those 15 arrows, they're going to go to a 1 arrow closest to center shoot off to decide it all. So Kris followed up that opening 9 with a good 10. Braden staying on track, moved from the bottom of the 10 ring up to the top. He's going to try to find exact middle of that now. Making a sight adjustment over there.
Yeah, Kris also actually making a sight adjustment after second arrow. Obviously, he was hitting to the right. He continues to hit to the right.
Yep, and something to be said about that, there's a really bright screen to Kris's right. That will often be the effect of that. These guys came from shooting in a more dimly lit portion of the arena. When you get a real bright light, it can create a little refraction and cause a point of impact shift due to sight coming off the lens in their scope. Or due to the light coming off the lens in their scope, rather.
So not often do we see at this level of competition after the first end 2 arrow or a 2-point lead, as long as that middle arrow from Kris Schaff there on the number 2 target gets called as a 10. But for Braden Gellenthien, pretty easily to see that he knocked all those out.
Yep. So
for Gellenthien, bit of a change in the off season for his life as well, as he and his wife moved from Massachusetts to Kentucky.
Yeah, they're not too far from here, I don't think.
Yeah, not too far from here. So Braden having a good look downrange.
Yeah, doing some work for B3 Archery. You see there on his hat. I want to say they're in Clay City, if that sounds correct. Winchester, maybe? Either anyhow.
They also got a puppy, didn't they? Like you did.
Yeah, they got a dog
last year, and yeah.
Yep.
Got one myself, and that was a big COVID thing, wasn't it? A lot
Everyone
of people getting dogs in COVID.
Yeah, good start for Braden there with 30. Kris gonna have a tough time overcoming that. At this level, the men's compound shooters, it's not uncommon to see a perfect 150. Usually, top guys through the rounds, you're going to need 149 to win. If you win with a 148, you call it good fortune. Anything less than that, you call it pure luck. In these gold medal matches, just because there's a little more pressure, 148 will usually get you a win, but it can be close. Yeah, these guys shot against each other plenty of times. They're teammates on the USA Archery team, traveled around for the World Cup circuit, probably done plenty of these matches head to head. Kris just low. He's having a hard time finding that middle.
Could you see it though? Right before the release went off, Kris had a bit of a bobble there.
Just a little dip.
I don't know if it's nerves or it's just not hitting for him, as opposed to this guy. That's pretty much the same hole.
Yeah, Braden's got a good rhythm going.
So Kris just needs to settle down, not let this one get away from him too far.
Both of these guys shooting a hinge release, which is a triggerless release. It operates off of rotation. So there's a hook and a moon, and as that hook, which is attached to their D loop, the string of the bow, well, Braden didn't love that. As that hook, as the release rotates, the hook will clear the moon and open up and fires the arrow.
But it's kind of a surprise, isn't it, Steve? And that's part of it.
Yeah, you're working through it, and some of it is shot subconscious. Kris down low on that one too. So Braden gave up the 1 point, but Kris has not been able to find a 0 on that yet. He's struggling to get things dialed in.
You've been on center stage like this, Steve, especially World Archery events. Been on the main stage shooting for gold. As here, we're not shooting for gold, we're shooting for pretty hefty prize money put up by USA Archery, as well as, I'm sure, prize money from sponsors. But still, there's, you know, even with shooters at this level, I would imagine there's still nerves.
Yeah. You can go shoot this round in your basement, and it's pretty hard because it's a small little 10 ring. It's unforgiving. And you add in a crowd and a stage, and it just gets the energy up a little bit. These guys have done that enough; they can work through that. But then you add in, you know, $8,000 in prize money to the winner. Add in manufacturer contingency, and you're looking well over $10,000. You know, that gets you going a little bit. You want to win that, plus the title, right? You want to have that title as well. So. That definitely gets the nerves going. And then sometimes when you get on these final stages, like I said, it's just hard to get things dialed in. Kris is probably up there going, you know, he doesn't know why are these not going where he wants them to. So he's probably chasing the side a little bit, trying to get that dialed in. And
I believe he made a draw length change too after a couple of rounds today. And so there's always that, you
maybe
know,
it wasn't the thing to do. Hard to say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's experienced enough to know. So he's got a 3-point deficit with 9 arrows to go. Chances are Braden is not going to give up 3 more points. There's one almost perfect center for Kris. Good shot.
Kris Schaff, of course, a world champion, World Cup champion in years past, and the world number 4.
Yeah, middle for Braden. Same hole as the first 2 arrows. Good 10 for Kris, half the line.
He's starting to find a rhythm, but we know that Braden is a caliber of shooter that could clean the rest of this round and not give Schaff an opening, even when he has a grimace on his face like that.
Yeah, sometimes he doesn't love the shot, and it's a half shaft in the 10 ring. Now, all that arrow has to do is touch that arrow, touch that line. So these guys will shoot a max diameter arrow, which is, for this game, these rules, 23/64 of an inch. Kind of an arbitrary number, but it's what the rule is. That one's in for Braden too. So the larger the diameter of the arrow, the easier it is to catch that line. It doesn't seem to make the game any easier. Still really difficult, but a couple of perfect 30s for him there. Good to see them both on track. Just tough for Kris with that rough start.
And interesting, Steve, this is our 4th match of the day, and I think this is the first time that you and I have seen an archer kind of come off the platform. Braden Gellenthien's been choosing to come off the platform, grab a drink, you know, grab a deep breath. What do you think about that strategy?
I think it's a good thing to do. It just gets you down. You know, sometimes when you're propped up like that, you feel like you're on stage and you feel like everybody's got their eyes on you. You know, if things aren't going well, it just feels like you're on an island. So get off the stage a little bit. You know, reset mentally, grab a drink of water, come back on, and try to keep doing what you're doing if you're Braden. You know, Kris has found his stride, but I think he got by that lighting in here. That can really have an effect on just the way the equipment works with these guys. And you know, if you're a casual archer or somebody who doesn't really watch this, you know, you're seeing a lot of stuff hanging off the bow. These long stabilizers, which do exactly that. They help stabilize the bow. These guys use it to aid in balance and help them slow down the sight movement, the perceived movement that they have. But then the peep sight on Kris, you can see it right now in the shot. He's looking through that. That's basically a rear sight. So he's going to look through that, which probably has a glass lens in it, which we'd call a clarifier. Then he's looking into his scope on his front sight, which is going to have a glass lens on it, which is a magnifier. Those things can be hugely affected by changes in lighting. So even if this screen here changes brightness during the shot, you know, it can affect point of impact. And I think in my shooting experience, whenever there's a really bright source of light to either one side or the other, your point of impact tends to shift towards that light. Braden giving one back there, and Kris started to the right towards that source of light. And it took him a little while to get things sighted in and going, but now he's shooting it pretty darn well.
He certainly is.
Another 10.
So it looks like another 30 for Schaff.
Yep, so he's going to have
now Braden,
potential 2-point deficit here.
Yeah.
Braden middle, dead center.
Now, the other thing I noticed about Kris Schaff, if you look at his peep sight's kind of an older version of the peep sight. It doesn't even tie it in, Steve, which I was noticing. But if you look at his scope setup, which is down by his leg, he's got a lot of add-ons to his scope, especially out the back end. So it looks like Kris has got a tendency to want to control light, because when we add, you know, those shades out in the back and the front, the whole goal there is to kind of get a better understanding and control of light. Yeah,
you're just trying to prevent it from refracting off the scope lens itself. But you can't do everything, you know, and depending on where the source of light is at, it may be impossible. And I don't know that was the actual case. It could be that Kris came out and shot a few arrows to the right. Hard to say. But, you know, when you see a guy of his caliber shoot 3 arrows in a row to the right, and I'm pretty certain he moved his sight each time.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, that tells me something else is at play here. You know, he's going to need a bit of a miracle. Braden is probably the best head-to-head shooter in the world, I believe. When he gets in a match like this, he almost never shoots bad. He may not always shoot great, but he almost never shoots bad. So you have to shoot great to beat him.
Yeah,
pretty good to tie him. And that's a tough thing to ask for in a high-profile medal match or final stage. Good one for Kris.
Perfect. You know, when you're a shooter like Braden Gellenthien too, it's a sea of yellow out there, and really it's about, for him, yeah, and that's really...
He's just wearing out that top spot just over and over. 5 arrows into the same hole.
Our final end, 2 arrows apiece for each of these archers. 20 yards down range is the target.
Good one for Kris.
Yeah, that 10 ring, the size of about a penny.
This is the decider, pretty much. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. You can tell with Braden. I mean, when he makes a shot in rhythm, and his face will tell the story. You know, we had some funny shots of him last year at an event where the one time I've seen him, it's just out for Kris. So Braden needs a 8 to win.
Yeah.
The one time I saw Braden not shoot great in a finals match, and you know, there were some memes came from it, but there was a lot of expression happening. Awesome shooting for Braden. 148, 145 takes the win.
That was a big one too. Way to just stuff that arrow, as we have more shooting coming up this weekend from this Kentucky International Convention Center. But as confirmation of the scores come in, and the 2022 USA Archery Indoor National Final Champion will be awarded to Braden Gellenthien. He'll take home $8,000 from USA Archery. As Braden, with a little wave to the crowd who gathered here for this gold medal match. I guess that's kind of like a standard of what we say. There's no gold medal necessarily, but Braden doing a great job of getting it done.
Yeah, it's a gold medal final as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so. Right. So Braden Gellenthien, who came into this your number 4 qualifier and shot his way to number 1.
Yeah, had some great matches through the rounds. Had a tight one with Jesse Broadwater, then beat Dave Cousins and got the win here over Kris.
Well, Braden Gellenthien, that was a heck of a shooting round for you, especially that last arrow absolutely stuffed it. Congratulations. Tell us about the round.
Yeah, feeling pretty confident going into the weekend. I ran the setup that I'm going to be running for the NFA Indoor Nationals, and yeah, I'm feeling like I'm handling the nerves really well, and yeah, things are good.
Yeah, you pretty much wore out the top spot. Everything else was pretty darn good as well. Do you feel, as a Kentuckian, that you had a bit of a home field advantage here?
It was definitely nice waking up this morning in my own bed and leaving the house at 11 o'clock and getting here. It was really, really nice. The travel was nothing.
Yeah, all right. No matter what. Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, that top target, I think I'm slowly becoming a 3D shooter with all that focus on that one arrow.
Well, man, you did it. Congratulations. And $8,000 richer just from USA Archery alone. And even though you're a Kentuckian now, go Pats.
Yes, go Pats forever.
All right, sounds good. Braden Gellenthien, congratulations. He's your 2022 USA Archery Indoor National Final champ in the men's compound division.